24 January 19164, Lions Couple Mane E, 4 BM. Good afternoon to my fellow soldiers. Good. Also, we have here issue which you know that, for me, myself, I cannot explain it much. But I can explain some which you know that is hindering myself. So we have issue which you know that is a uniform issue. I don't have a uniform for myself. The way I'm standing, this is my last dictal, which you know that they say that, CDS is coming, we should put a new uniform. This is my last, and I don't have nothing one inside my room, which you know that I should put next. And combat, sir, we have an issue. Combat, is a big problem for us, sir. Yes, sir. And next, that's this thing. How to call it? Can I say it again? That's the... Okay. What I'm fenkoti kafanya dile about ndolfon la ko wala nasari isu kam fo yantendi. Ngata bankle kodo nyin kraka kama is a problem wato do bije katara jele wato do bije fon kandi kungam ko kodo nyin receive at the time it fon after time minna comme ya foko end of month yeta kodo receive is a problem. Ni futara je koyo ka mandum follow yeta esi yeta also mo ko koyo ka mandum and you are working for your family. So if your family near call comes up about issue about mano banta, tulo banta, dino man kende. So what do ogasa permission to tune up sa about narandam da monk mo from yanga mon correct permission to tune up sa over.
I-05-3612 Sergeant Rame and Sumana. Sir, you are welcome. Sir, we welcome you and your delegation in 4 Infantry Battalion here in our territory, regional territory. Welcome, sir, with your delegation. So I have only, as far as there's no time, I have only 2 areas to elaborate here. First of all, that's the security area. So we are stranded. We are stranded about vehicle mobility. And definitely, soldiers, any point you post us as a guard, that place is important. That's why we are there. So I feel that when we are in our particular places, we have to get our necessary things like mobility and communication. It's very important. Block, we don't have vehicle there. Totally. Okay, Sibanor 1. Oh, these 2 places, Block and Sibanor, every place should have 2 vehicles if I'm suggesting. As of now, I'm from Block. We have no vehicle, even to fetch a firewood, we have to go in town, borrow a vehicle, put our fuel there, and go for firewood. When the driver said, no, today he cannot go, we have a contract, now it's based on us. The way we get firewood and how to get it, that's based on us to cook. So it gives us very tough time at that area. And even Kalaji here, sir, our OP is a very important OP, where it's necessary to get a standby vehicle there. Because there was a time we were at Kalaji, we get an info that there's armed robbers coming from Kiang, Kenaba coming to our area, but we cannot go by foot. They come up to Sandeng Road, they pit on their left, enter inside Sandeng, and they lost. So if I told you we are having a mobility people there, we will, and because of them down there at Sankandi, we'll observe them at Sankandi or at
It is a very sad state of affairs. Man bu ma gisee video boobu si boppam, the first thing I did, I sent it to somebody who is very, very close to the president. And wax ne this issue must be addressed and addressed immediately. Because you mel nii moo ñu juraloon something like 1994. We just have to be honest. Si boppam. You just have to go and listen to the testimonies of Sana Sabali, what they were saying, how disgruntled they were, and all that. Si boppam. Te ñun ñëpp ak coow lu ñoo coow yëpp, nobody wants a repeat of li nga xam ne moo happen on 1994 in that country. We want normalcy to continue. We want democracy be strengthened and all that. We don't want anybody to feel so frustrated to the extent of getting anything. That doesn't mean that I'm harm anything. How am I anything? I'm just drawing conclusion based on what always is the case. And so Adama Barrow is very honest with the Gambian people. The first thing he would have done was summon the whole leadership from the defense, Minister of Defense, the Chief Security Advisor, the CDS. Ñoom ñëpp should not be holding their jobs. They should have been fired. So Adama Barrow is serious. Because one thing is very, very clear. Nobody in that government, the chief of defense staff, the minister of defense, the national security advisor, can't see your salary musta late. They get paid handsomely and they get paid on time. So if that is the case, then why should the soldiers, they rely on very, very poor salaries to feed their families, have to go to the bank to receive salary, salary be exego. Now you'll hear people make excuses for them. And there is a question that I always ask people. Moy since buñ dore ham nguur Gambia betay, have you ever had any minister in a munuma liggéey because mo moto bi dafa yahu? Musta happen. When they want cars, they get cars. In fact, it has gone to an extent bi nga xamné ni nguur gi ci boppa, especially the NPP. Anybody who guy in the same party bi, the first thing that they give you is a brand new SUV. That's what they give these people. So the same way ni nga xamné Barrow non la mëna lijjanté SUVs ba di ko joxe di ko partager ku nekk ñu jox. It's the same way that our soldiers should be taken care of. Ñun dégg nañ ministre boobu noonu naka docteur Fufu la ko gars yi lay ooyee ñu ne Sabally mu ngi mer ne ñi nga xam ne ñoo génn ku ci nekk Barrow jox na la ñu ne amoon nga mining contract joxoon nañ la moto and all this. So just wax la how much this man cares about the average Gambians. Ñi nga xam ne would help him to self-perpetuate luñ bëgg mu jox leen ko including mining contracts, and that should even be another question that Gambians should ask seen bopp. Are contracts being given to people based on merit, or are they given to people based on loyalty to President Barrow? And this is the sad thing. Nga dégg soldat yi naan la ñoom fu nga xam ne seen camp yi amuñ moto pour move around. And you take you're taking your country's security seriously. And the other thing mooy pour Barrow war a bàyyi xelam. This last extension bu gaay def pour economy is the very last, and it's for 2 years. At some point, if Barrow wins the next elections, whosoever wins it, within 2 years, by 27, the security of that country would solely and wholly rest on the Gambian soldiers. What is he going to do? This fear of our soldiers, to the extent, you don't wanna have the necessary security reforms take place. You don't want to engage the security. But is only pump and page like a pageantry. Mo is ñu ne ñu ngi am army de nga dem sol sa lifin nak ñu ñawal la ben lifin nak defal sa commander in chief and all this nonsense nga sol ko nak ñi di la tàccu. That's not leadership. That's showmanship. And that's what Barrow is doing. But this thing must be nipped in the bud. And they cannot continue to sell us this cacophony story of how well the country is doing. Or there is a projection from the World Bank, our economy will grow by 6%. That's what they tell you. The GDP will grow by this. That's what they tell you. But the average Gambian is underpaid, do am salary on time. That is not a government that is serious. So if there is anything, there is an indictment of Barrow, an indictment of his government. And it's one more reason why Gambians should make sure he would lose the next elections in 2026. But again, we cannot continue this nonsense. Nobody in that leadership, from the Minister of Defense to the National Security Advisor to the CDS, Monday president, they would not be holding a job because they would have been fired on the spot. And I would appoint other people, how many can do the job. When they had Drame as the CDS, we never had such things because he was a very serious guy. And he got his post as CDS based on merit, not because of based on Sibor. Nyom Mama Cham. You see Mama Cham, you know the Sibopam. He should not even have had that position, Sibopam. Because Mama Cham, Sumago Drame, they are almost the same age. If Drame can retire based on the retirement age, why is Mama Cham still there? CDS? He is incompetent. And if there is anything more, this demonstrates the lack of competency of Mama Cham, and he should go. Mama Cham must be fired. The defense Minister of Defense must be fired. The National Security Advisor must also be fired because it is a failure. It is their responsibility to make sure that the salaries how many are supposed to be paid to these people are paid to these people and on time. And when you can react, maybe amuñ xaalis. No, we do. There was a budget of $51 billion. that was passed in the National Assembly. And in that budget, you go and read it again. The majority of it is recurrent, which would constitute anywhere between 60 to 70% of the budget. And recurrent, what does it mean? It takes care of salaries. It takes care of other things. Just expenditure is not going to bring you anything else. So whatever they have in the army, the Ministry of Defense had calculated the number of people in the army, their salaries for a year, presented that as a budget, and not a penny of the Ministry of Defense budget was reduced. Not one penny. Bena butut wanyi wuñ ko ci. So meaning that their salaries are budgeted for. The money is there. Why are they not being paid on time? Is it that they're incompetent, or they don't just care, or they don't take these people seriously? That's what the issue is. So Adam Barrow must take our country seriously. This nonsense of arresting people because they now, while the people are responsible for the security of the country and have the means to destabilize the country, play with them like Mbuyabus. That's what's going on. There is no greater security for the Gambia than to ensure that those who are responsible for the security, the territorial the security of our country, they are taken care of. What is due to them is given to them. We cannot continue to give National Assembly members cars yoo xam ne nii mënuñ ko afford, while the soldiers yi nga xam ne nii ñoo war a garder dëkk bi mënuñoo am seen salaries on time, or su lu ñoo am sax is not enough, or even jumtuwaay yi nga xam ne moom la ñoo war a am sax is not there. The communication system bi nga xam ne moom la ñu war a am is not happening. Maybe when they went to the army and spoke to these people, they were expecting praises from them. Loolu tax ñu videotape ko. Or they are not very happy. Réccu nañ tey sax lana tax ñu allow this thing to be videotaped. And this is the joke that we live in as a country. And another demonstration of Barrow's incompetence. And Barrow does not even care about the Gambian people.
Yeah.
These people are not interested in anything but what is in it for them. And I hope the Committee on Defense in the National Assembly will do its work and summon the leadership from the Minister of Defense to the National Security Advisor to the CDS to come and explain to the Gambian people why we are having those issues. Because everything that these young soldiers complain about, I call them Halel because most of you know one, I seeing them, I think I'm older than them. Or all these soldiers. Everything that they were complaining about, again to the Gambian people, everything was budgeted for. It forms part of the 51 billion dollars budget that was passed in the National Assembly. Where is the money going to? And even Kenesa, National Assembly, the Defense Ministry, or Ministry of Defense, then under said budget was undervalued. There is an other provision in the budget. They call it central services. It's the miscellaneous budget, where the bulk of the money goes to, where they can always take money from to also put Fatayen and Plasi. So again, let not anybody come with any foolishness. Now, amuñ halis. No. Kan la hamne amuñ halis? When Barros depass at the State House, ne wàññi nañ ko. Kan la hamne amuñ halis? So guy already reduce the number of cars yi nga hamne mom lañu allocate to ministers. Kan la hamne amuñ halis? So ministers get a stock at home because amuñ essence buñ mëna def seen moto yi pour liggéey. Kan la hamne amuñ halis? Su fekkee ne di travel ban bi nga hamne mom la guy di wax is fully implemented. Where fu mu nekk nii so bëggee gis ministre Gambia demal nga toog Belgium airport. You run into 5. Ku nekk nga dem. So kii demee China kile nga dem, India kile nga dem. They are just traveling all over the place. And this nonsense, maa ngi dégg Ismaila Cissé di wax ne, yeah, senior travel, most of it, 75% of it is financed by other countries. Bullshit. That's not true. Because even su fekkee ne you are invited by an other country, they are financing part of it. The Gambia government still will impose some cost. And most of these travels you guys did, they could have done them virtually. They could have sent somebody else. But they want to go because they would want to be paid 200 and something pounds or 300 pounds a night. That's what they want. And this why how many times the government be wax ne ñoom they have instituted a travel ban. How often? How many times they call Minister Side? I call some of these people. Most of the time when I call them, they are not in the country. Oh, no, no, no. Bilai, mangi travel, mangi China, if you sumo you nanyan call out back. Because I try to call them to get them to come to our program. And the majority of time that I call these people, they are not in the country. They either here in Washington, D.C. and World Bank meeting la ñoo attend. And when they are coming, it's like a boss load of people come. Then you get a negotiations fini. Or Nyunga Belgium, or Nyunga Angleterre, or Nyunga France, or Nyunga China, or Nyunga India. That's what they do. Tabambalo la gari neke si aduna si. And every time they leave the country, it costs the Gambian taxpayer tremendous amount of money. So these soldiers need to be taken care of. Not only soldiers, everybody who works for the government. It is the responsibility of the Gambian government to make sure the people are paid and paid on time. And every salary for everybody is budgeted for. But Adama Barrow Sutogete Buga appointee Tukulorsi as advisor to the president. Even after the budget has been passed, somehow, some way, they will find a way of paying. So to me, I felt so sad watching this because I felt sorry for these people. And I also believe Barrow is playing with the security and stability of our country. His focus should move away from Landa Pa Samba Jaw or Landa Nakala Barrow Must Go or Landa Usenu Dabo to doing the job that he was appointed to do. And I hope he will take heed because I sent the message, like I said, send the video to somebody with a very strong message that this thing needs to be taken care of and taken care of right now. And nobody who is directly or indirectly involved in this should in fact continue to hold power. But I will not hold my breath because Barrow is not a serious person. Jërë leen jëf.